Hello everybody, how are you doing? Today I'm just going to walk you through my favourite card decks and a bit of advice for anyone starting tarot or anyone who's accomplished at tarot, whatever. I'm just going to show you some of my favourite decks. I know Christmas is coming up. Some of you guys might be interested in getting a deck for yourself or getting a deck for a loved one. So I'm just going to talk you through like some decks that I think are really good. That might be a unique thing for a collector, or it might be something you'd want to start with. Now, before I begin, thank you very much for being here. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. You can join the Emotional Support Coven for extra content, extra videos, readings and stuff like that behind the scenes. Thank you for my Emotional Support Coven members. You guys rock. And let's talk about these tarot cards then. So the first off, I want to say that the Radiant Rider-Waite is the best one to start off with. Now, I know this is going to sound a bit daft to some people, but some people cannot read Roman numerals. So this deck has the 9 of Wands, and now I can't find numbers, you know, so it has it all, the 3 of Swords, the 2 of Wands, and you might think it's a little thing that helps. It's also very vibrant, very bright, and it has the classic images of the tarot on there, so it's quite accessible to use. This is a great deck for a starter. Very good. It's technically the only deck you need. I know, shocking, isn't it? It is a very good deck. I've just done a giving away this exact deck, not my one, but one exactly the same. So yeah, this is possibly, if you're looking into getting into tarot, this is the deck to get. But if some of the images, let me find, some people don't like the Tower, and the Judgment image can be a bit much for people. So there is another deck that if those images you find are a little bit too strong for you, a little bit a bit too much for you, there is other decks you can get. So there is another deck that is very good for learners. It's also very gentle. My best friend is learning tarot at the moment, and I recommended him this deck because one of the things it has on there, it has some of the meanings on there, and it's very much gentler images. So you can see there with the 5 of Swords, it's just got the right around there. So if you're doing some readings for yourself, if you just want something a little bit gentler, something with this kind of like nice it's also got yes no cards built in there as well in this deck, so you can take them out, add them in, but they're very, you know, it's very accessible, very colourful. You know, even the Tower looks like it's a nice day out, apart from the flames and stuff coming out of it. But you know, it's gentler on you. It's a lot gentler on you, I think. So yeah, so that's another one you can get that I recommend for people who are learning tarot. Even if they have been doing tarot a while, this can be a nice deck for you to have. It can be a nice deck for you to have. It's just, the artwork is so detailed, so lovely. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy that deck. You won't see it on the channel too often, because it is very, I don't know, I just like dipping in and out of it for my kind of personal use. Another one that I do love for personal use is the Magic Crystals Tarot. Now this is fairly new out, and I've just recently acquired it. What it has on here is it has every crystal. Every card has a crystal associated with it. So in the guidebook, you can learn a little bit about crystals and a little bit about cards. It has got some similarities to the classic images on the tarot, but it's, I would say, if you wanted to go straight in off the bat, if you're just brand new to it, try using that for a few months. But this one is a lovely, lovely deck. So say you've got the Six of Wands there, and the card, that the crystal that associated with that is blue topaz. You've got the Tower. The crystal associated with that is black tourmaline. Now, black tourmalines are very protective, very grounding energy. It's something that's going to make you feel secure while that tower energy is going on around you, so that it kind of works together. And I think it's, the artwork's nice. I mean, the death card, you've got a vulture there, an ankh, the hanged man, you know, you've got a lady hanging off a snake. So, you know, it is very, that's a kundalini, but it is very it's a very nice deck. One of the things with this deck is you can see when you're pulling a upside down card, which it doesn't, I don't, when I shuffle, I shut my eyes. So that doesn't necessarily matter for me, but it is something to be aware of if you're an open-eyed shuffler. So yes, so that is a very pleasant deck, very pleasant. Another deck that I find is quite nice is the Cats Rule the World Tarot, because cats. The images on it are lovely. There is, you know, you've got the, you've got a bit of magic there. You've got the Three of Cups. You've got the World. One of the things it takes out of it, I feel, it's not a harsh deck by any means. It's not a harsh deck. The images don't necessarily marry up all the time with the classic tarot, but it is a nice deck. It's one of those ones that's quirky. You've got to be kind of in the mood for it. You've got to be a cat fan for a start, or you're just going to get bombarded by it. I do feel like it's more cartoonish, so not everyone's going to like it. So they've got to have that kind of personality about them, if you know what I mean. They've got to have that kind of, they've got to enjoy things like this in a way. It is quirky. It is nice. It is like, my only complaint about it is it seems to be very toned down, very muted. I wish they'd made the colours brighter, because I do enjoy a colourful deck. I really do enjoy a colourful deck. And it's just, if they just turned like the warmth up on these and made the colours a little bit more popping, it would have been just that little bit better. That little bit better. So yeah, it is a nice deck though. Definitely for your cat fans out there. Now, this deck here is, I have been told it is called Tower of the Three Gods, and it is an absolutely beautiful deck. Not for a beginner by any stretch of the imagination. The cards, especially the pip cards, don't add up necessarily so straight across to the classic Rider-Waite. The images, some of them are very not PG, not suitable for work. There are nude front bottoms of the male variety. But it is a very detailed card, so I definitely wouldn't get it to somebody who was younger, maybe too young, under 18, under 21. You know, it's not necessarily something you're going to go and get your daughter or your granddaughter, but it is a pretty deck. And if you're not bothered by stuff like that, it is an accessible deck. Now, there's some of the imagery, you've got Kali, you've got different gods, you've got, let's see if I can find one. There's the Fool. Let me have a look. You've got lots of Chinese kind of owls, gods from all around the globe, Egyptian, justice, the world. And it is not a very Christian deck. So if somebody who doesn't like imagery of maybe the occult, or maybe different, like Kali's quite a scary goddess. She's, you know, quite fiery, and she crops up once or twice in it. And like I say, there's front, bottom nudeness. Then it's somebody who's more conservative isn't necessarily going to gel with this deck. Some might, you know your friends better than I do. I'm just saying, like, a forewarning, I wouldn't get me mum this deck. I don't think she'd be that bothered, but it's not something like, you know, your best mate who's interested in in everything eclectic, occult, and is open-minded to stuff like this. Yeah, go for it. For a younger tarot reader, absolutely not. For somebody who's more conservative, no. For your way out friend you have a glass of wine with on a Saturday, absolutely fine. So yeah, that one's different. This is my favorite deck. Now, I did see a comment, I think it was from Kristen. I could have got it wrong, and she goes, oh, this is my favorite deck. Well, it is my favorite deck too, and it is the Hanson Roberts deck. It is a lovely deck. I have to say, this deck, it goes with the classic Rider Waite. It does do it does write out the Roman numerals into English, and it also does French and German and Spanish, and I'm not too sure on the other one. That could be Italian, yeah. So there is 5 languages on the card. So it's very handy to learn. The artwork is lovely. There's just something really nice about this artwork. I don't know if it's because of the darker outlines and the softer pen stencils on the inside. I don't know what it is about this deck. It is just an absolutely lovely deck. I even like the 9 of Swords on this deck. Look at them. They look like little Cabbage Patch dolls. Garbage Pail Kids. It is a wonderful deck, and possibly one of my favourites. In fact, my favourite. Close your ears, guys. I do recommend it. It's the Hanson Roberts deck. Now, if this can be used like the Radiant Rider Waite. It's excellent for learners. The reason I always say learn with the Radiant Rider Waite, or maybe learn with this, is once you've got these, you've cracked the code. You've more or less can read any deck. Some decks you're going to take a little bit more time and get a bit more clunky, get a bit more familiar with, get used to. But if you learn from these two, it's brilliant. You have cracked the code with the tarot. So yeah, those are the decks that I recommend. Most of them, all of them, I think are available through Amazon. I do have links to some. I'll double check in the description box for this video, and make sure that everything's in there. So you can click and have a look if you want to. Even if you click on it and go to see the full name and everything, and then you can, you can go off and buy it from whatever website you want to. I do get kickback if you bet it from Amazon, but it doesn't matter, to be honest. Just fill your boots, have a click, get it from a different website if you want. Some of you guys are going to be using different Amazons anyway, so it's all good. I just wanted to come on here and say which ones I'm recommending right at this moment in 2022 as we're going to 2023. It'll probably change next year. There'll probably be some new recommendations on here. But those two are always going to be there, always. So yeah, thank you very much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you kind of got some inspiration for maybe some Christmas gifts, or if you're going to start into tarot, what tarot cards you would like. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for being here, and I'm going to love yous and leave yous now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.